Hi, I'm Jeanetta Bodie. I'm the owner of Iron Crane Yoga. I'm a pelvic floor yoga therapist, and I've been teaching women about how to love their body, understanding their pelvic floor, building strength, and just knowing themselves for about a decade.
Hi, I'm Steph Woods. I am a yoga instructor at Iron Crane. I also am the lead personal trainer on our program, Train for Life. So that's a new program that's coming. I also was a recent participant in the Empower Your Core course that we had a couple months ago.
Yeah, so
excited to share
what we're here to talk about. Empower Your Core is a program that I created, and it's 5 weeks long, designed to teach women about their pelvic floor. From understanding their body and orienting themselves to their body, understanding your muscles, what's down there, to how your hormone cycle, what is going on in puberty that is going to introduction to cycling, so your hormone cycle, your menstruation, also into understanding where things go wrong. Why do we need to know the pelvic floor and how is it affecting certain parts of our bodies? I created this because over the 10 years I've been working with clients, I have come back to this every single time. It has always come back to pelvic floor. So when I'm talking about the pelvic floor, I'm talking about inside of my pelvis. So this is your pelvis, inside of the pelvis. Inside of that are about 16 muscles that make up your pelvic floor.
Wow.
I know.
Just a few.
You know what's crazy about them is they're not hamstring quad size muscles. They're little muscles. So they can affect a great deal of the body, even though they're little. And that also means sometimes it's harder to be aware of them because they're so small. Not to mention the shame and the stories that we tell ourselves around pelvic floor. That's a huge part of what we talk about. You want to share your experience of?
Yeah, so while I was going through this, I thought it was fascinating when we started that we had to write a story about our pelvic floor.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a little bit of an interesting thing emotionally that I went through because there's all these things that might have happened in your life, and then you didn't realize that they impacted you from an emotional state that then your body reacts in certain ways. So I ended up writing my story, and I felt really sad about what it started out to be, and it just felt really comforting to have these women that were in this group, where the ages are all over the board. So I learned too, it doesn't matter, we all have the same parts. We can talk about it from multiple different areas, and it's interesting to see the experiences that they've had were so similar to what I've had, and I felt like I wasn't alone.
And nobody's talking about it. That's a big
yeah. So and why aren't they talking about it?
Why aren't they talking? That's a good question. They are not talking about it because this is one of my not issues. This is one of the things I've really struggled with talking about, because I am a teacher in pelvic floor, and I should be screaming on mountaintops about how many clients I've worked with that this has been the problem. But I'm not doing it because I've been scared about what people think of me going about hey, I want to talk about how to have better sex. I want to talk about not peeing your pants. I want to talk about having better orgasms, and I want to talk about getting rid of your back pain because it's pelvic floor related. But I've had a lot of shame in my own story about not knowing. You don't know what you don't know. So you don't even know what to ask questions about right now because you don't even know what's down there, because
it's like a black box.
It's a black box. I mean, and reality is, so here's an example. My 7-year-old boy, I walked into the bathroom the other day, and he's on the counter, upside down, looking at his butthole, and he was like, "Mom, buttholes are weird." And I just laughed so hard. I was like, "Yeah, they are, buddy. They're real weird." But the freedom of a 7-year-old to go and look at his body without having any shame related to this part of his body. Now, you can't go around and grab your wiener in class. We can't do that. But I just realized that at some point I lost the freedom to touch, feel, question my own body. And when I did that, I put all of this stuff that is related in your pelvic floor, because the second layer of that is our root chakra. That is where all of our sense of belonging, our place in the world, our ability to use our voice. It starts with knowing that we are safe and loved and connected in our pelvic floor.
That's heavy.
That is so, I mean, I have like chills just saying it right now. So this topic is massively complex. If this topic were as easy as dealing with a knee injury, everybody would be talking. Every trainer would be talking about this, but it's not. It's complicated, and we're adding the hormone cycle, not to mention the women's hormone cycle, which is a 28-day cycle versus the man's cycle, which is a 24-hour cycle, and understanding that that's going to change over time as you're going through menopause. So how do we connect with this part of our body, know what it is, get all of the sense of belonging and connection that our chakra 1 brings, our root chakra brings, and also heal other nervous system somatic sensations that we have picked up over the years from trauma or birth episiotomies, tearing, any type of tearing that you've had, or if you had a C-section, that's going to change things. Like, it's massive.
Complex.
It's so complex. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Tell me about, as you think about your experience of going through it, why did you choose to go through it?
So I've always felt that the pelvis is such like a mystery to me. I teach yoga, I get it, turn your pelvis, do this, but I wanted to learn more because I felt like the more education I can get around my own body, the like more solid I feel within myself. So
can we just like take a moment and express how big that is? Say that again. Like the more
I learn about my body, the more I can express myself.
Yes.
So, yes. So that was my journey. I wanted to go in, and I got so much more than I expected. Just learning about my own body and my beliefs, because it's not just like the physical, here's my pelvis. It gets into your nervous system. It gets into, like you're saying, your cycle. So it's not an easy answer because we all come from different backgrounds and places. And when you have all those previous beliefs and you learn this new knowledge, like trying to reframe and change yourself and like how those appear to you in the world is very interesting and challenging and powerful once you can realize that your story, that you have this belief you have, might be challenged, and then you can apply the new knowledge. And how liberating.
What has it changed in your life now that you know this?
It makes me want to crave more, and I feel like I've been able to find more of my voice, also learning more about my body and going into the cycle as well as the workout. So I have been strength training, and I had this experience where I was lifting this certain weight, and I'm like, yeah, and then I go in the next week or two later and I can barely lift it, and I'm so frustrated with myself. And I'm just like, I don't understand. I've been working so hard, and like, why all of a sudden I have to go so much lower? And someone mentioned to me, you started talking about your cycle and how that can affect how I'm working out and how much my body, so it gets into the estrogen. You'll learn a lot more about it in the program, but it just is making me very curious. So now I've been being aware of my cycle going into the workouts, and it's true. As soon as I get to a certain point, I push, and I'm like, holy crap, I feel like a superwoman, and giving myself grace when I'm starting to go through my cycle and knowing that my body, just honoring that I can't do what I had done a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And I would even go further because I'm a little further down the road, and I've studied my body through this lens of pelvic floor and cycling. And what I have even started to notice is if you begin to really study your hormone cycle, how you work out, not even just on your period, but during follicular, during ovulation, during luteal, you're doing all of these things, and we in our bodies have a natural work and rest cycle. Like, our hormones are naturally telling us when to move in and have our outer world amplified, when we need to move inward and have our inner world amplified. And I think that is massively profound, because your hormone cycle, your understanding of how your body functions is your first yoga practice. And what's beautiful is that you have all of this time to move, and that what's beautiful about that is that we are also in this world, in this beautiful universe that also has its own cycle of seasons, of moon, like the moon cycle, which is what women in menopause, they can begin to continue that cycling where they have this sense of, I go in the world and I go help and I also withdraw. We're going to talk about the feminine energetic cycle and how it doesn't go away when you're in menopause. Like, women in menopause, you are so vital and so important, and understanding what's going on in your body instead of shaming, oh, I'm in menopause, oh, the hot flashes. Yeah, they're real, and we're going to talk about why they are real and some of the things that we can do about it. But also understanding that your body is asking you to pay attention. It's talking to you. It's every day, all the time. And if we can learn how to listen with some of the most intimate parts of our body, it will radically change every other part of your life. It's huge. It's huge. It's mind-blowing. The amount of my confidence, my self-confidence, and the way that I move through the world has changed so significantly as I've studied the pelvic floor and I have committed to a journey of self-acceptance in my body. This means that I speak very specifically to my body. I'm very careful of the words that come out directed to my body. I don't call myself stupid. I don't, oh, you're a fuck up, you did this wrong. I'm very patient. Yeah, because that's going into my system. And if I were to replace me with you or my son, I wouldn't say that to them. And so that's going into my, the cells of my body. It's affecting the type of breath that comes in. If I'm living in sympathetic and I'm breathing in these words of negativity, it is telling and sending messages to the muscles of my body that we are in flight, that we should be afraid. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how you can learn to listen to the signals that your body is giving you and respond to them in a way that is going to produce healing. And that's what this program is about. I love it.
How can one sign up for this program?
Why don't you tell them, Stephanie?
So we have our website, ironcrane.com, and if you go up to the education tab, there is Empower Your Core. Click on that, and we can also get in touch with us. You can also get in touch with us by signing up for our newsletter. We have all the events and everything going on in the studio, just some education, some just great content. So I'd recommend that you sign up for that as well. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
A couple things about the program that we're going to go over. It's a 5-week program. It's done on Zoom and in person. Steph is going to be the moderator for the Zoom group, which I'm really excited about because I sometimes hate Zoom teachings because you feel like I want to be there, but I can't. So we have a dedicated moderator for the Zoom group, so you'll feel totally included. We've got some exciting things for those that are not in Tucson. If you're in Tucson, we are going to be starting soon. You can check out the dates on our website. You can come in person, knowing that we're also going to be including a 5-week at-home practice. So it'll include some breath work, some meditations, some exercises, breathing exercise, strength exercises, really to help you get connected and understand even what we're talking about when we talk about pelvic floor. So I just am thrilled. So come on, this is for everybody.
Yeah, come and join.